Hey, what's going on, y'all? We back at it again. It's that time of the week, and we're ready to go ahead and get busy here in the laboratory. Again, my name is EA. You dine with EA. If this is your first time, I appreciate you being here. If it's not, if you've been dining with me in the past on some previous recipes, and welcome back, man. I really appreciate y'all, man. You guys keep me motivated. Check this out. What are we gonna be doing today? Today, we're gonna be preparing this dish. It's called Italian Drunken Noodles. And this particular dish, we're gonna be using some tender egg noodles, colorful red. As you can see, I got everything right here already laid out. We're gonna be using some yellow peppers. We're gonna be using some red peppers. We're gonna be using some green peppers. We got some onion. We got some minced garlic. We got some white cooking wine. Now, you know that you don't have to actually utilize the wine if you don't want to use the wine. You can use a little water, or you can use some chicken broth if you like. We got some diced tomatoes. We got some hamburger here. Ordinarily you would use Italian sausage, okay? But in this case, we're not going to use Italian sausage because we understand that there are a lot of folks out there that don't consume pork products, and you're very, very selective about what type of meats you eat, if you eat meat at all. So you know what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna add some flair. We're gonna add some twist, and we're gonna veganize this ground beef that we're gonna be using. And when we get done with it, this ground beef is gonna taste just like it's Italian sausage. That's right. We're gonna mimic the taste of Italian sausage. That's why I say we're gonna be very innovative. We're gonna be very creative. Okay. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using some very select ingredients, to give and blend them together. Ingredients, various spices and seasonings, so forth, and blend them together to give this ground beef a type of classic sausage taste. But it's not gonna be sausage. Okay, and I've already mixed everything together. So let's start here. Because we got several steps that we're gonna follow. This is gonna be a stovetop dish. It only take 30 minutes to prepare this dish. Fast cooking in a hurry. You can have everything mixed up on the stove, off the stove, on the plate, right in front of forks and spoons in a matter of, 20, 30, 40 minutes max. Okay, so check this out. What we're going to do first and foremost, we're just going to go over all the ingredients we're going to use. We're going to go over the general ingredients first, right? Then we're going to go over those special ingredients, and we'll be very specific because these ingredients or seasonings or spices are carefully measured in order to get you that nice flavored Italian sausage taste. It's converting that hamburger so that it'll have that nice flavored, sweet Italian sausage taste. Okay, so we'll just walk through the spices or walk through the ingredients we're going to be using for this particular recipe. First and foremost, we're going to be using some olive oil. Like I said, we're also going to be using some of the cooking wine, white wine, which you do not have to use if you don't want to. We're going to be using some Italian seasoning. We're going to, in this particular recipe, we are going to be using a little salt, but we're going to be very, very generous, right? Or very, very careful as to how much, and conservative as to how much of salt we use. Okay, because we try to avoid sodium, salt, and things of that nature in our recipes. But we're going to use a little salt. Okay, we're going to use some parsley flakes. We have some minced garlic, and I also have some fresh garlic over here. I always like to mix my garlic. I'll always use a little bit. If the recipe calls for minced garlic, I'll do a half and half. I'll do half minced garlic, this variety, right? And then I'll also get some cloves of garlic, and I'll chop them up to complement the minced garlic. Okay. The other portion of our ingredients, we're going to be using some black pepper. We're going to be using some oregano. We're going to be using some red pepper. And this particular portion is the little twist we're going to apply to make that nice special seasoning to get our meat to taste like, our ground beef to taste like Italian sausage. Okay. Again, let me start over. We're going to be using the black pepper. We're going to be using some red pepper. We got some oregano leaves. We're going to be using a tad bit, a very, very small portion of kosher salt. We're going to be using some thyme. We got some basil. We're going to be using some smoked paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and here's the secret ingredient. Here's the secret ingredient. And without this particular ingredient, you're not going to be able to mimic that Italian sausage taste. And I had never heard of this particular seasoning before. I looked at my list and I said, man, I have a lot of seasoning in the cabinet up here, but I do not have this one. It's called fennel seed. You familiar with that? Yeah, fennel seed. So we're gonna be using the fennel seed, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go and get this ground beef looking like, tasting like, smelling like Italian sausage. Now, let me get my gloves and we're gonna go ahead and proceed. Okay, gloves on. Okay, what we're gonna do first, right? Let's go ahead and move all this over here by the stove. I'm gonna move that over here, like so, right? And to be exact, these are the seasoning, the spices that we're gonna be using for our ground beef. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what's in here. I'm just gonna read it out to you. I had to read it out. I could not remember all of these seasonings. We're gonna be using, like I said, 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, crushed or lightly toasted, right? 1 teaspoon of smoked or sweet paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 3/4 teaspoons of dry oregano, 3/4 teaspoons of dry basil, 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, optional for heat, 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground thyme, and a pinch of brown sugar. I forgot to mention that. The brown sugar's here, and of course we have our wide egg noodles. And that pinch of brown sugar, they said that's optional because it mimics sweetness of some sausages, okay? So we've already mixed everything up in here. So all we're gonna do, we're just gonna go ahead and put all of our seasoning in there like that, right? And we're just gonna mix up our ground beef like so. Go ahead and get it nice and mixed up like that. Making sure that we get that seasoning in that ground beef through and through. We're gonna change the whole we're gonna change the chemistry of this ground beef. What we're gonna do, we're gonna change the chemistry. So we got that all mixed together. Okay, we're over at the stove now. We got our frying pan here. We also have our pot. Our frying pan, of course, that's where all the magic is gonna happen. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and put a little oil in here where these noodles are gonna go, right? To prevent those noodles from sticking together and becoming gummy, right? So that's getting ready to boil. And we're not gonna put the noodles inside this pan here until the water starts to boil. But right now, our oil is starting to heat up for us the way we want it to. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna test it, see. Just about ready, not quite ready. Okay, it's ready now. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go ahead and put this ground beef in here, like so. Okay, and that grease, let that ground beef cook. All right, did right. We went ahead and put our ground beef. We had put some olive oil in our pan. We got our ground beef in here. We're gonna go ahead and let this ground beef cook up, or brown rather. Then once we're done with it, we're gonna set it to the side. In the meantime, we're waiting for our pot to boil here so we can put our egg noodles inside the pot so that they can go ahead and cook for us. Okay, our ground beef is looking really good. Oh, I can smell it. It smells like Italian sausage right now. Once this is done browning, we're just gonna take this off the stove and move it to the side. Okay, that's ready to come off the stove. Just gonna put this in the side dish and keep it moving. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep this pan on the stove. We're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of butter in there like so. We're gonna move the ground beef over here. I'm going to add a little olive oil in the pan. Let that butter melt down. Our water is still heating up for our noodles. Let that melt. Let that butter melt right like that. Like I said, it's a 30-minute meal. 30-minute meal. All right. While that's working like that, I'm gonna move all of this back over here like this. All right. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and put all of our veggies in the pan. Put our onions in there. And of course, all of these veggies are gonna cook down. It may look like a lot, but once everything gets done, go ahead and put that minced garlic in there. We're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and put our egg noodles in here so they can do their thing. Put them in there like that, yeah. Just like that. Those egg noodles in there, just like that. In the meantime, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and put this teaspoon of minced garlic in here, like that. We're gonna go ahead and add our little parsley flakes. Just a little bit like that. We're gonna add our Italian seasoning to these veggies. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay. Add some red pepper, crushed red pepper. All right. Regular pepper to taste. And we're not even going to use the kosher salt. Just going to put a little salt in here. However much you think you might want. And just continue to let that just do its thing. Just like that. You see that? Just let them continue to cook down. Occasionally stirring your noodles again so they won't stick. 30-minute meal, 35-minute meal. 35-minute meal. 35-minute meal. Now I know you're gonna let your veggies cook. You want them to cook down, but you know you might want them a little more denser, right? But if you want them very soft, you decide how long you want your veggies to cook. But according to the recipe, you want to let them cook about 3 to 4 minutes. Continuing to stir fry them like so. And as you can see, the noodles are cooking really well. It normally takes about 12 minutes for these noodles to cook. Same amount of time if it was spaghetti. Then of course you want to, take a couple of them out, take one out or two out every so often just to check and make sure it has the consistency that you want. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get this white wine. Go ahead and put our white wine in here like so. And let me tell you, this white wine is going to cook off. It's going to cook off. All right? That wine is going to cook off. But what's going to be left behind is flavor. Look at that. Will you look at that? Nothing but flavor. Now we're going to go ahead and put our tomatoes, diced tomatoes in there. Let them simmer. Let that sauce do its thing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to deviate just a little bit, as we often do when we're in our own kitchen, right? We get a little innovative, creative, and we get outside the box. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna use a little. I have a little grated Parmesan Romano here. I'm just gonna put some of this in the sauce right here, just like that. That's what I'm gonna do, just like that. Some of that Romano, that grated Romano. Yep. Looks like our noodles are done. Let me see. Take one of them out of there. Oh man, those noodles are done. This is simmering right here. Those noodles are ready to go, baby. So you know what we're gonna do right now? We're just gonna let that continue to simmer just like that. Let that simmer like that. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna get our strainer. We're gonna go ahead and got our strainer. We're gonna go ahead and strain these noodles through here. All right. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, go ahead over, since this is all has simmered, all the veggies have cooked down. That sauce in there, the tomatoes have cooked down, right? My noodles are in here. I went ahead and put a little butter in my noodles. That's non-salted butter, by the way. Yeah, those noodles are ready to go. I'm just gonna put my ground beef in here like this here, right in the pan. Ground beef, right inside the pan. My ground beef / veganized Italian sausage. And all I'm gonna do is pour everything over into my pan, just like that. Just like that right there. Just mix it up. See that? Just mix it up. Okay, so there it is, y'all. That's it, baby. ABC. Another bad creation. There it is. This is our Italian drunken noodles with sausage style ground beef. Yeah, we converted the ground beef into sausage, baby. Yeah, you know, we use some unique seasonings and spices. It's ground beef, but it tastes just like Italian sausage. So this is a non-pork product. If you don't eat pork, you ain't got nothing to worry about, baby. We veganized this here. Served up with a side of perfectly roasted asparagus. Check out those asparagus, right? All we did was dab some olive oil on them, put some salt and pepper, a little salt and pepper on them, some onion powder, garlic powder, put some Parmesan cheese on them, baby. Put them in the oven, roasted them inside of some aluminum foil. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, dog. Now look, this is colorful, comforting, packed with bold and savory flavor in every bite, I guarantee you. Look at the noodles. The noodles are tender, sauce is rich, with that white wine and tomato blend, and seasoning gives the beef that authentic Italian sausage kick. So whether you're cooking it for yourself, friends, or family, this dish is sure to impress. Trust me. If you give it a try, let me know in the comments how it turns out, y'all. And don't forget, my name is EA. You dine with EA. Please like and subscribe. And look forward to share more meals, more recipes. And I'm going to continue to bring the flavor, y'all. And without the fuss. So see you in the next one. That's it. Bam. Okay. Look, man, let me tell you something, man. I appreciate y'all being with me today. This was an interesting dish because we actually turned regular old hamburger, regular old ground beef, we turned it into Italian sausage. We turned it into Italian sausage. Check out the recipe, all right? Check out the recipe. Check out the entire video. So right now, what I'm getting ready to do, I'm going to go ahead and do what I normally do. I'm going to bring it close to me. I'm going to do what I normally do. Wait a minute. Let's see what we're working with. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Woo! That's delicious. The flavor, it tastes just like Italian sausage, y'all. I'm telling you, that is delicious. Full transparency. I sprinkled I put a little cheddar cheese on top of mine. You know, if you look, my name is EA. I'm dining with EA today. You know what we did here. Got the Drunken Noodles with sausage style ground beef. We changed the ground beef, the flavor of it. We incorporated some spices and seasoning. Converted this ground beef into Italian sausage, baby. And it has all the flavor, bold and packed in there. You gotta try it. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for next week's recipe. Don't forget to check me out and chilling with EA on the other side, home decor. Working on another project upstairs right now. But look, love y'all. Big shout out to my grandkids, Savannah, Landon, and Cameron. To my sisters, Tammy, Tracy. Love y'all. Peace out. One more again. Hit it again.